welcome to my kitchen. I thought it was just fitting to honor the colors of the African American flag, red, black, and green, with designing recipes that incorporate just about everything delicious and healthy that's red, black, and green. I also wanted to honor some ancient and old flavors like cumin and sumac, za'atar, ginger. Sorry, I think I might have forgotten the ginger, but incorporate it somewhere in your life. Let's get started. I have designed this little treat because I know for a fact that Dr. Michael Greger says that red pepper is better for you raw. So I designed a recipe keeping that in mind, and they're loaded with vitamin C. So let's say you're doing this for two. I have a cup of cut up red peppers. I have a cup of green cucumbers. I like the English ones. I don't take off the skin. I figure it must be there for a reason. So good washing. Then, listen, onions. I like the purple onions. I like yellow onions. All different color onions. So I got onions in here. I have about 2 tablespoons in here because I like onions. I also have some garlic. About a clove and a half or 2. It's really your preference. Now, this is the thing that gives this salad a little extra something. And I'm going to show it to you. Olives. Red, black, and green. This is, the real treat in here is keep some of the vinegar that the olives are in. I have about anywhere from 2 to 3 tablespoons. I have about a half a cup of olives, and I go to the a store in Rosendale Square here in Massachusetts, and I get the huge, it's like about this big, black Kalamata olives. I keep them in the house because quite a number of years ago I was reading a prevention magazine, and it talked about belly fat diets, how to get rid of it. And olives were like in your lunch and in your dinner. So trust me, brother and sister, I try to keep olives in the house. I just want to show you this, how beautiful this looks. Oh, I know, right into the sunlight. Oh, let me give you a little extra something here. Thank you. The next recipe that I want to share with you incorporates red, black, and green also. This is a little bit more. So I really enjoy having the opportunity to eat some raw goods, some raw items. This particular one incorporates, you like that sunlight in my face? I know you're not supposed to really do that when you're filming, but listen. I decided to figure out a way how to work with lentils rather than doing soup. I like things that are fried. Okay, well, we're trying to modify that in our lives right now, right? But I got the black lentils here. And I am using a couple of really interesting ingredients with this one. I am incorporating Aleppo pepper. I am also incorporating something by the name of Kelly's Spicy Cheesy Parm. It's made with cashews, seasoning, and the yeast stuff. But it's good, it's good. And this one is spicy because I am making spicy lentil fritters. Okay, so I've got 2 cups of cooked black lentils, no salt. I keep hearing different things like salt when you cook with your beans, make them tough. I didn't use a lot of liquid because I didn't want to have to worry about draining, because as you can see, they're very, very small and they can get all over the place. So I did cook them with quite a bit of za'atar, and I put in some coriander just because I love coriander and I love any excuse to use it. So here we go. I have 2 cups of cooked black lentils. In my little situation here, I have the spicy parm. Excuse me. First I gotta show you this. I'm using just egg. I'm using an egg substitute. I'm really, really working. I'm gonna pour it in here first so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so it runs like a beaten egg. I'm gonna put in about 3 tablespoons of that. Excuse me. Now here I have my seasoning situation. I have fresh dried parsley because I don't use enough parsley, and quite frankly it's embarrassing when you look over and it's already turned brown. I don't know, I can't figure out how to keep it in water. My son said the trick is keeping it, changing the water every day. I have the Aleppo red pepper in here, and I have about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. My fantasy is to go totally salt-free, but brothers and sisters, we know beans need a little bit of salt. Now, I'll give that a nice little mix. What I have here too is a couple of tablespoons of onions. Again, I've already explained I love onions. Could be why I'm single, but let's see. This is a question I keep asking. And I have some shallots in here. Just about a tablespoon or so. Now, I'm also using spelt flour. It's just a preference. I understand that it has some different qualities, and I definitely don't want to be playing around in my life right now with white flour. So, you know, I'm trying to minimize the processing. I think I may need a little more egg, but I just want to show you what this looks like. Oops, I don't want to show you something else. So, I had a bunch of red peppers, and these are spicy. So, I just lop off the top. Pour out the seeds because it's dry. How did I dry it? I sat it in the windowsill. Just let it sit there until it went like dried up. And I just break it with my hand. Now, I found that if you have the pepper situation and the heat in your hand and you want to get rid of it, and a really good way I found is rubbing your fingers in citrus. So I have this going on here. This is my red. This is because this is going to bring the heat. I have that nice smoky Aleppo pepper in here. The best thing you can do when you decide to make any kind of fritter, patty, is to refrigerate it, let it sit. At this time, if you want to, you can also mash it and get all the flavors worked up in there. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. There you go. The sunlight hits it again. And just because I don't want to have to play, look what I have here. This is what it looks like. Okay. I'm not doing too good with it. So I wanted to give you a close-up of the goodness, really without me basking in the sunlight. Really, it's not about me, is it? So I want to show you the goodies up close with better lighting. Yes, yes, and yes. So what I did, because I love a crispy something. I really do prefer a fried something, but we're going with the baking right now. So what I did was I made a little breading to go on top. I used gluten-free breadcrumbs, Why? Because I'm fancy. I also use the Kelly seasonings. In this particular one, I use the spicy Parmesan. This one, I just used the cheesy Parmesan, and I did about a quarter of cup of the breadcrumbs and a couple of tablespoons of the Kelly seasonings, the Aleppo pepper. I probably put in about a teaspoon, about a half a teaspoon of the parsley, mimicking the same flavors in here in the breading. And looky, I know, it came out nice, huh? It's delicious. 350 degrees, 15 minutes, flip it for another 10, 15, and that is on really, how crispy you want it. But because of the Kellys and the gluten-free breadcrumbs, you get an extra crunch because the Kellys are made out of the raw cashews, remember? Listen, I got something groovy for you. Watch this. Hi, our final treat today, incorporating all things red, black, and greens, is a really flavorful mix of premium greens. Premium greens I categorize as those with the highest nutrient that you can get for your buck. The goal is also, for me personally, and I'd like to offer to you, is to try to get as close to eating things that are most beneficial for you raw, if you can. How I do that is I have a pan here that I have heated up. I'm not afraid, onions again, yeah. I'm not afraid of onions. I encourage you to try to cut them up as thinly as possible because of the layers of onion. There's so many hidden nutrients and bam-bams in between the layers. Just try to get them as thin as possible. Pan is heated, no water, no oil. I just got my onions in here. Medium to high heat. You can add a little water if you want, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, this is about a cup and a half of the pretty tomatoes. I did cut them in half. That squirting in my mouth thing, that doesn't work for me, so I like to cut up my cherry tomatoes even in half. I know you can hear that. I don't really like my vegetables to have to fight with my pan. Like, oh, it's too hot, stop it. No, they don't need to do that, so that's okay. I'm going to turn it down some. And let them relax. Relax. You see how nice and pretty and red that is? Okay. Now I'm going to add some seasoning. So, again, I told you I wanted to incorporate some really old school seasoning. So, I also really like the fact that we're using more lemons and limes and things of that nature to season our greens, as opposed to salted meats. So here we go. I have, look at that. I try to be respectful of the amount, my Armenian sisters and brothers. This is some sumac. I have about 2 teaspoons of that. I have about a quarter, I'm not probably going to use all that salt. Then I have about a quarter teaspoon of allspice, just to give it that little, Caribbean's like allspice, that little Caribbean in it. And I do have a nice hefty amount, probably about a half a teaspoon of cumin. So, I just want to bring out those flavors, so I'm going to let them get a little bit of heat. Wow. For real? This has a very comforting scent to it. Like if I was walking into a home and I smelled this mixture, I'd be all right with it. I'm putting in some beans, black beans, red, black. Now here's where I got the gold. The gold is the arugula and baby spinach, both babies. Put this in. You can give it a nasi mush down. I've got about 5 cups or 3 cups of spinach or 2 cups of arugula. Again, don't stress about that. Put in what you have. I'm going to put the top on. I'm going to turn the fire off. Because my goal is, again, I'm trying to get as close to raw as possible, but I'm also trying to appease my already warped palate for hot stuff. So this is going to be tasty. You let this sit for a few minutes. You zhoosh it around a little. I'm telling you, it's nice. You have protein, you have fiber, you have iron, antioxidants, you have clean. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit longer, and then we will present all things red, black, and greens.